Up next on Valley News Live at 10, how long before teachers receive the COVID vaccine? An exclusive interview with a local rapper after charges were dropped involving the stabbing of 3 people. Plus, remembering Officer Jason Mosher 5 years after he died in the line of duty. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
We begin tonight with Fargo City Hall, lit up in blue this evening to honor fallen officer Jason Mosher. It was 5 years ago that the Fargo police officer was killed in the line of duty responding to a domestic dispute. Good evening, everyone. Today was declared Jason Mosher Day in the city of Fargo. That fateful night, officers from all over the area.
He not only was a son, husband,
they will never
father,
forget. They
brother.
say it's important to think about the life Officer Jason Mosher lived rather than the way he died.
That he not only was a son, husband, father, brother, but he was a friend to many. He is forgotten by no one and honored by all.
It is not how these officers died that made them heroes. It is how they lived.
Officer Mosher served 6 years with the Fargo Police Department. He earned the Silver Star in 2012 for heroism and bravery after he and another officer rescued 2 children from an apartment fire. New at 10 tonight, our local rapper and music promoter is trying to get his life back on track after serious charges were dropped against him. He was accused of criminally stabbing 3 people last September. As Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie found out, his journey wasn't an easy one. It's a story you'll only see here on Valley News Live.
Facing judgment, the loss of his business, and a possibility of 15 years behind bars, Jason Grant spent the last 5 months counting on one thing: the truth.
I went through every emotion that you can go through. I started not to believe in the system. In my heart, I felt like the story would come out.
A late night out on the town ended with a group showing up uninvited to his business for an after party. A fight broke out and many were cut with a knife. The Fargo music promoter and business owner was accused of stabbing 3 people.
I've lived here for 25 years, so I know a lot of people. So when that story came out, it was just like, what? People were like, what? Yeah. It was just, everybody's talking, big buzz all around town, and I'm like the fall guy.
Grant says he acted in self-defense that night when he was attacked. Months later, the state agreed, saying after interviewing several witnesses, including many of the alleged victims, the state is unable to disprove his claim. This week, dropping all 3 assault charges before the trial.
Happy to be free, and I don't wish any harm to anyone involved, and I wish it never happened. I'm just happy that it came out, the truth came out, and the legal system works.
Grant says now he's looking forward to sharing the news that he's a free and innocent man. In Fargo, Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.
If you're looking to stay on top of the latest vaccine information, check out our VNL Vaccine Tracker. You can access national and local resources in just 2 easy steps. Just open your phone camera, point it at the QR code on the screen, then tap the link that pops up. North Dakota officials say it could be more than a month before K-12 teachers and support staff receive the COVID vaccine. Cass County Public Health is asking school staff interested in getting the vaccine to fill out a survey. They say it will prioritize individuals that work with students who have a mask exemption. Once the vaccine is available, staff members are supposed to receive an email. Those 65 years and older are currently able to be vaccinated or are next in line in some areas. Individuals who have health impairments follow, then child care workers before K-12 staff. Vaccinations will not be mandatory for teachers or support staff. In your legislative watch tonight, lawmakers in Minnesota are continuing to battle the push to get all kids back in the classroom. Under Governor Tim Walz's executive orders, schools must follow the state's guidelines laid out in its Safe Learning Plan. The governor says elementary schools can proceed with in-person learning without consulting the state if they adhere to mitigation strategies, but that's not the case for middle and high schools. Some lawmakers say the governor's powers have gone too far.
We at the local level have a pulse on our community values, and we represent these communities in our decision making. I do not know what the best decisions for Minneapolis public schools are, but I have a good idea what works in Stillwater.
This comes as the CDC is expected to release new guidance for schools. Some parents in Minnesota are arguing that the risk outweighs the benefits regarding student athletes competing in masks. The parents group Let Them Play Minnesota introduced these video clips to lawmakers.
My son on Friday night passed out during his game because he was wearing a mask while playing basketball.
As a result of this mask mandate, my son suffered a concussion.
My daughter was participating at a hockey practice wearing a face mask when she suddenly collapsed and fell to the ice.
She was wearing a face mask and collided with her teammates on the basketball court.
Assistant Health Commissioner Dan Huff says there is no scientific evidence that shows there's a higher risk of injury, and youth sports organizations haven't reported a jump in injuries compared to last year. Minnesota lawmakers have introduced a bill to crack down on rising catalytic converter thefts. It seeks to disrupt the black market by preventing anyone except for licensed scrap metal dealers like repair shops or auto recyclers from buying used converters. It would also be illegal for scrap dealers to pay cash for them. A trip that would prohibit new abortion clinics from opening within 30 miles of a school is heading to the North Dakota Senate. It also aims to bar the state's only abortion clinic in downtown Fargo from expanding. A Republican-led Senate panel refused to endorse the bill today, saying it would likely survive an expensive court challenge. The North Dakota House has approved a measure that would prohibit transgender athletes from competing on teams that don't match their birth gender. Representative Ben Koppelman of West Fargo is the bill's primary sponsor, saying it's meant to protect girls. Others argue it's discriminatory. The measure will now go to the state Senate. Some lawmakers are already worried that if it passes, North Dakota could open itself up to litigation and lose national tournaments. 1 year later, a Minnesota police officer and his wife reflect on the night that changed their lives forever. That story is coming up later on Valley News Live at 10. But first, finally a little bit of good news in the weather forecast. We'll just have to wait a few more days. Hutch breaks it down for us next.